Good morning, happy viewers. Welcome back to Candyland, where every day working on the airplane is just like serving up another delicious treat. Here's pretty much what I was working on this morning. Spent about a good 45 minutes to an hour. I decided the first thing I wanted to do before I continue with the jury struts was to get the wings so that they are bolted to the fuse, and they're bolted. I'm not really happy with let me take you off the stand. I'm not really happy with what happened with the little screwy and things in the plywood. This one, as you can see, I used just some regular, whatever you want to call them, blind nuts, T-nuts, just to temporarily hold this side together. Here's what happened when I did the first side. It came in and it split. This one came out pretty good. This one came out atrocious. What it is, when you try to put the little inserts in, the layers of plywood kept directing it in a way I didn't want it to go. So that's why the plywood, like on this one, started delaminating. And although you can't see it on this one here, it started delaminating on this one on the other side. So I just decided to put those in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the shop. I'm not going to do this right now. I just want to get back to work on the jury struts. But I'm just going to go ahead and I think I got some good. Yeah, I got some good scrap of It's a pretty dense growth ring. So I'll use some spruce in there. I'll cut them. The spruce won't argue with the direction that those little these things, the little screwy and things. It doesn't argue with the direction that those want to go, or you want them to go. So anyway, here was from the last clip on. I got to think when this was. Heck, I think this is just about a week ago. Last time I had the opportunity to work on a plane. I've been busy all week. Yeah, so I've got these things pretty much drilled across to attach them up on top. But I wanted to have these wings affixed firmly before I started doing this. And I did measure. I did it last week, and I think I spoke about it in an earlier clip. Is that these things, the warp in this side over here, from the, let me get this straight before I start speaking. I'll get it straight in my mind. From the forward strut to the rear, excuse me, from the forward spar to the rear spar. This was at 4.8 degrees. This was at 4.8 degrees. I came all the way out. This one measured at 4.7. That's good enough. I came over to here and it was 5.6. So that was where the struts come into play, because I was able to extend this one out about 2 turns out, and it came up and measured it, and it was 4.8 degrees. So that's how the struts will work nicely. So once this is all covered, I'm going to make sure that the wing's as straight as I can get it before it's covered. But I will, I'll have the ability to add in or out any kind of washout in the wings. So, with the hopes that all will go well. So anyway, I'm going to come in here. I haven't even spent that much time in the shop. Oops, turning the lights on and off and doing the wrong thing. So anyway, I will. I'll get the camera set up back outside, and I'll probably do one of my little speedy up videos. I'm gonna take the time to try to get as many of the parts ready to go, and then I'll just kind of walk you back and forth. It's gonna be a long, drawn-out day with just trying to get these. It's basically 4 vertical jury struts, and then I've got the cross jury strut. And here's what I think I'm gonna do. Let's just say that this is a vertical here, and this is going to be another vertical over here. That's going to be a cross strut. There we go. Sorry about the lean. Okay, so there's going to be another vertical. Get some stuff out of the way. What they did in real life is that between the 2 verticals there was a horizontal, and it was raised up and there was some pretty much flat stock brackets that came around and attached to it. You'd have to look at it and see. And so I might put something in the video. What I'm probably going to do is do it the cheap and easy way. I'm probably, once these are set, I'm going to cut this to length, and I'm going to drill through, put a screw in there, glue it together, and call it done. Because just as long as this jury strut does what it was designed to do, that's all I care about. So it's, because for me to make the brackets, I'd have to get some more flat stock, bend it, and it's just going to, you know, give me another day of work to do on the jury struts, and I really don't want another day of work to do on the jury struts. So let's see how much I can get done today, because we're probably looking at, it's about 20 after 10 in the morning. So my goal today is to have the struts and the jury struts all done and connected. That's my goal. Doesn't mean I'm going to get there, but anyway, I'll get everything set up in the stand, and then I'll bring it back in from time to time, and then who knows, might be some good music involved. So be back in a bit. Hi, I'm back. Did you miss me? It's not that I don't love you anymore. I just got rounded up running back and forth to the hardware store for screws, because screws that I thought I had, I didn't have. So here's a real quick heads up where I'm at right now. This part back here has been glued, and it's got a 5-minute epoxy. It's almost fully set. I've got to attach these one at a time, glue them up one at a time. All right, what I did this morning was came in. I already had these grooves cut. This is some more of the stock. I got 2 more pieces for the little cross beam on the jury struts. All right, so I started with these, and I think I may have showed you the brass I cut about a week ago. The top pieces were bent at 90. I already figured out how those were going to attach into the mounting beam. Let's see, it's a nice little chunk of spruce going through. How that was going to attach to the bottom of that. So this was already set up ahead of time. So what I had to do today was I had these lined up, get it the right height, and then just took a pencil and just drew a diagonal line across when this was set up so that it was perpendicular to the wing. Went inside, cut them off. So I had that cut. Then I had to cut grooves on the bottom side of this, and then take some more of that brass stock I had, cut it, bend it. It's more than it's probably about 65, 70 degrees. So I had to cut that angle in it. Came in, used a pencil, put a dent in the wood, drilled through. So that's how I made sure that these are set up. So this side's all done too. I just have to glue it together. So once I get it glued together, it's just going to be to come in and get this set up, and it's going to be, do I want to cut a flat? Do I want to cut a flat spot in here, which would probably be easier, but I don't think I'm going to do that. What I'll probably do is come in with a Dremel, so I get it, and create a radius, a cut. I can cup this so it's got the right curve to it, and then I can just go ahead and I'm going to epoxy it in place, and then come through, run a piece of dowel rod, or not dowel rod, bamboo, just sorry about that, so you can see. So what I'll do is I'll come in and I'll run some bamboo straight through here into this. And so once it's all epoxied in place, it's just going to keep it from coming apart. So that's been that's the majority of my day, was just running around. So I've got, you know, maybe a couple hours, if not less, of work to do left today. Possibility of rain coming in. As you can see, I was out talking to you, there's no sunshine coming off the top of my head. It's the clouds are building up a little bit. There's little patches of blue, so I'm hoping it's just going to pass over, because I'd like to get this part done, take the wings off, run those upstairs, and then I'll get back to work on the fuse. I've got to, for the fuselage, it's got to be build the doors. Then after I get the doors built, I'm going to go ahead and, so you can kind of look this way. So I'll get the doors built. Once the doors are made, I'll make some little hinges. That's easy. That's brass stock I've got, and just some holes drilled in, little pins. So that's easy enough to do. I have to do the finish the tail. The elevator, I have one piece that I want to do a little bit of repair work on it. It's not really broken, but I'm going to replace one little piece. And then I've got to, on the trailing edge of the horizontal stabilizer, I've got to cut the hinge, the little hinge groove, so I've got to do that. And then once that's done, it's pretty much, I mean, to get the rest of the big stuff done, I got to get the controls back in and attached, just to do the testing. It's just going to be, excuse me, once I get the wings done, get the doors done, that's when all the little stuff's going to come in, because the plane itself is considerably, I mean, it's almost all the big stuff is done. I mean, this is pretty much it. The doors won't be that tough. It's still going to be a good day of work, because it's not building it, it's going to be the fudging around to make them fit. So, but that's no biggie. So it's getting closer. It's going to get done someday. Just don't know when that someday is going to be. So anyway, I'll bring you back just to do a final look over on the jury struts and the wing struts and everything done on that. Like I said, after that, it's just going to be probably me. Just, you know, especially the doors. I'll go through the whole initial setup on the jig I'm making for the doors. You'll go through that with me. And then, sorry about that, I want to make sure don't have epoxy running all over the countertop or the building top. So what I'm going to do is I'll bring you in when I'm building the jig for it and explain everything. And then when it comes to make the doors, that's just going to be, you know, one great big speedy up video. So either way. I don't know. See you in 2 minutes and 2 seconds. Alright, it's been a very long, tiring day. I've been battling a whole bunch of little battles all day long, and it appears that I've won, I guess. It's, I don't know, probably about 7 o'clock. We got some clouds building up, got some rain coming in, so I want to get this thing broken down, thrown aside. So anyway, real quick, let me just show you the struts, and the jury struts are done. Alright, everything is complete. I decided to go to just pretty much do a little concave, just grind it with the Dremel tool. That little gem right there. Rounding them out, yeah, they're not perfect, but when I get done filling, sanding, filling, and then when I cover these things out, these might be covered, they might just be painted. I haven't decided yet. Chances are probably just painted, but I've covered this stuff before, and it's interesting. So you never know. I'm going to have so much scrap left over, covering material. I may just go ahead and do this. I'll see what it looks like, you know, after I get everything else covered up. So anyway, it's kind of hard to see it, but I got little piece of bamboo drilled in. So these little things aren't going anywhere. They're not going to fall apart. They're rock solid. All the epoxy's glued in. I have to, I'm going to have to come in and just sand down, do a little filler like I've got to do with all the little cracks up in, little gaps up in here. I got to do that too. So, what I opted for, because you saw earlier the issues I was having with these, this is how I'm going to have to do it. It's not how I want to do it, but I'm going to have to do it. And I got one side completed, and this was what I did. The epoxy's still not set up all the way, but I took a bigger block. I've got the blocks right here. Okay, first thing I do is I take a big block, and I'll replace all these with it too. I come in with a Forstner bit and countersink this down to the second little thing. So it's about 3/32 of an inch. I'm taking off. I'm taking the first two off, so that the little T-nut is dropped down fully beneath the wood. Then what I'm doing from there, I'm taking another block that's the same size, drilling the oversized hole that I have to use for that, which is a 5/16, and then so that the bolt can pass through. And once everything is all epoxied together, got my fingers crossed while I'm saying this, these should not be able to get punched out because because this is glued in on place. And being the overly concerned person that I don't want to ever have to uncover these wings for any reason, I may, through the ply here, I may run a couple small screws in. Not that it's really going to do anything, but I might do it. I don't know. I haven't decided. It's meant to keep the wings up against the plane, which is what it's going to do. So there should never be a problem with this thing getting spun off. So I'll probably just leave it the way it is with just the epoxy holding it on. So with the exception of the final sanding, just like the whole plane's got to go through, the struts are done. So that's going to be, I'm not going to throw the wings upstairs tonight. I'm going to go upstairs and make some food. But I'm going to get everything stashed inside here, and then I got Thursday and Saturday off. I believe Thursday and Saturday. Thursday and Saturday off this week. So looks like a chance of not nice weather again on Thursday. So if that's the case, I got the wings off. I don't have to work on this thing outside, so I can bring her back inside and work inside on it. So that's going to be that'll be the benefit, because the cruddy weather around here really held everything up on being able to work on this on my days off. So anyway, that's about it. Once again, thanks for joining. At the end of the video, which is just seconds away, you know, give me a like. If you want, you can just subscribe. It's not hard to do. It's that little button. It's that little button down over here on the left-hand side. So anyway, once again, it's been a long day, but I'll see you back in the shop later.